Hello, it is January the 3rd, 2025, and this video is part of an experiment. I'm going to see how long I can keep this up, where we are exploring A Course in Miracles. And I've studied A Course in Miracles for many, many years, starting in around 2009, and it has been a regular part of my personal spiritual practice. I've found it very illuminating and inspiring, and has helped me to maintain my peace and my center and to share God's perspective on the unexpected, the unwanted, the difficult. So I'm inspired to share my practice with you, sort of, in as much as my practice was that I would start my day in meditation, practice the lesson for the day, and then in the afternoon or in the late morning, over breakfast or over lunch, then I would read a section of the text. For our purposes, we will also look at the principles of what makes up a miracle. And there are 50 principles that are written in the introduction, so we can get a sense of what constitutes a miracle, just so that you can understand the function or the intention behind the meaning of miracle, what a miracle is in the context of the Course in Miracles. All right, so let us begin with the section of the text where we have been looking. We are jumping in at chapter 16. The reason for this is because it is the section of the text where a new year is mentioned. And the course was scribed, channeled starting in 1965, and it was scribed and channeled over several years. But it's in chapter 16 that a new year is mentioned. And so just for fun, I thought, okay, well, we'll start at the beginning, which is in the middle in this case. So right now I'm on ACIM.org. And so we're going to click on this button here today, Read A Course in Miracles. And we're going to click on text. We're going to scroll down to number 16. And so yesterday we read the reward of teaching. And so today we're going to read the illusion and the reality of love. All right, so let's begin. Paragraph 1. Be not afraid to look upon the special hate relationship, for freedom lies in looking at it. It would be impossible not to know the meaning of love except for this. For the special love relationship, in which the meaning of love is hidden, is undertaken solely to offset the hate, but not to let it go. Your salvation will rise clearly before your open eyes as you look on this. You cannot limit hate. The special love relationship will not offset it, but will merely drive it underground and out of sight. It's essential to bring it into sight and to make no attempt to hide it. For it is the attempt to balance hate with love that makes love meaningless to you. The extent of the split that lies in this you do not realize. And until you do, the split will remain unrecognized and therefore unhealed. Paragraph 2. The symbols of hate against the symbols of love play out a conflict that doesn't exist. For symbols stand for something else, and the symbol of love is without meaning if love is everything. You will go through this last undoing quite unharmed, and will at last emerge as yourself. This is the last step in the readiness for God. Be not unwilling now, you are too near, and you will cross the bridge in perfect safety, translated quietly from war to peace, for the illusion of love will never satisfy, but its reality, which awaits you on the other side, will give you everything. Paragraph 3. The special love relationship is an attempt to limit the destructive effects of hate by finding a haven in the storm of guilt. It makes no attempt to rise above the storm into the sunlight. On the contrary, it emphasizes the guilt outside the haven by attempting to build barricades against it and keep within them, The special love relationship is not perceived as a value in itself, but as a place of safety from which hatred is split off and kept apart. The special love partner is acceptable only as long as he serves his purpose. Hatred can enter, and indeed is welcome in some aspects of the relationship, but it is still held together by the illusion of love. If the illusion goes, the relationship is broken or becomes unsatisfying on the grounds of disillusionment. Paragraph 4. Love is not an illusion. It is a fact. Where disillusionment is possible, there was not love, but hate. For hate is an illusion. And what can change was never love. It is sure that those who select certain ones as partners in any aspect of living and use them for any purpose which they would not share with others are trying to live with guilt rather than die of it. This is the choice they see, and love to them is only an escape from death. They seek it desperately, but not in the peace in which it would gladly come quietly to them. And when they find the fear of death is still upon them, the love relationship loses the illusion that it is what it is not. When the barricades against it are broken, fear rushes in and hatred triumphs. Paragraph 5. There are no triumphs of love. Only hate is at all concerned with the triumph of love. The illusion of love can triumph over the illusion of hate, but always at the price of making both illusions. As long as the illusion of hatred lasts, so long will love be an illusion to you. And then the only choice remaining possible is which illusion you prefer. There is no conflict in the choice between truth and illusion. Seen in these terms, no one would hesitate. But conflict enters the instant the choice seems to be one between illusions. But this choice does not matter. Where one choice is as dangerous as the other, the decision must be one of despair. Paragraph 6. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. It's not necessary to seek for what is true, but it is necessary to seek for what is false. Every illusion is one of fear, whatever form it takes, and the attempt to escape from one illusion into another must fail. If you seek love outside yourself, you can be certain that you perceive hatred within and are afraid of it. Yet peace will never come from the illusion of love, but only from its reality. Paragraph 7. Recognize this, for it is true, and truth must be recognized if it is to be distinguished from illusion. The special love relationship is an attempt to bring love into separation, and, as such, it's nothing more than an attempt to bring love into fear and make it real in fear. In fundamental violation of love's one condition, the special love relationship would accomplish the impossible. How, but an illusion, could this be done? It's essential that we look very closely at exactly what it is you think you can do to solve the dilemma which seems very real to you, but which does not exist. You've come close to truth, and only this stands between you and the bridge that leads you into it. Paragraph 8. Heaven waits silently, and your creations are holding out their hands to help you cross and welcome them. For it is they you seek. You seek but for your own completion, and it is they who render you complete. The special love relationship is but a shabby substitute for what makes you whole in truth, not in illusion. Your relationship with them is without guilt, and this enables you to look on all your brothers with gratitude, because your creations were created in union with them. Acceptance of your creations is the acceptance of the oneness of creation, without which you could never be complete. No specialness can offer what God has given and what you are joined with Him in giving. Paragraph 9. Across the bridge is your completion, for you will be wholly in God, willing for nothing special, but only to be wholly like to Him, completing Him by your completion. Fear not to cross to the abode of peace and perfect holiness. Only there is the completion of God and of His Son established forever. Seek not for this in the bleak world of illusion, where, Nothing is certain, and where everything fails to satisfy. In the name of God, be wholly willing to abandon all illusions. In any relationship in which you are wholly willing to accept completion, and only this, there is God completed and his Son with him. Paragraph 10. The bridge that leads to union in yourself must lead to knowledge, for it was built with God beside you and will lead you straight to him where your completion rests, wholly compatible with his. Every illusion you accept into your mind by judging it to be attainable removes your own sense of completion and thus denies the wholeness of your Father. Every fantasy, be it of love or hate, deprives you of knowledge, for fantasies are the veil behind which truth is hidden. To lift the veil that seems so dark and heavy, it's only needful to value truth beyond all fantasy and be entirely unwilling to settle for illusion in the place of peace. Paragraph 11. Would you not go through fear to love? For such the journey seems to be. Love calls, but hate would have you stay. Hear not the call of hate, and see no fantasies, for your completion lies in truth and nowhere else. See in the call of hate and in every fantasy that rises to delay you, but the call for help that rises ceaselessly from you to your Creator. Would he not answer you whose completion is his? He loves you, wholly without illusion, as you must love. For love is wholly without illusion, and therefore wholly without fear. Whom God remembers must be whole, and God has never forgotten what makes him whole. In your completion lie the memory of his wholeness and his gratitude to you for his completion. In his link with you lie both his inability to forget and your ability to remember. In him are joined your willingness to love and all the love of God, who forgot you not. Paragraph 12. Your Father can no more forget the truth in you than you can fail to remember it. The Holy Spirit is the bridge to him, made from your willingness to unite with him and created by his joy in union with you. The journey that seemed endless is almost complete. For what is endless is very near. You've almost recognized it. Turn with me firmly away from all the illusions now, and let nothing stand in the way of truth. We will take the last useless journey away from truth together, and then together we go straight to God, in joyous answer to his call for his completion. Paragraph 13. If special relationships of any kind would hinder God's completion, can they have any value to you? What would interfere with God must interfere with you. Only in time does interference in God's completion seem to be possible. The bridge that he would carry you across lifts you from time into eternity. Waken from time and answer fearlessly the call of him who gave eternity to you in your creation. On this side of the bridge to timelessness, you understand nothing. But as you step lightly across it, upheld by timelessness, you're directed straight to the heart of God. At its center and only there you are safe forever because you are complete forever. There is no veil. The love of God in us together cannot lift. The way to truth is open. Follow it with me. My recommendation is that when we are reading the text, just let the words wash over you. Notice with curiosity what sticks. Notice with curiosity what you're actively repelled by. The course comes with its own jargon. There's a new lexicon to become familiar with. Yesterday, we came across the word sonship, which to me, the best synonym for that would be humanity. And I offer the alternatives not to change the text in any way, but just simply to facilitate learning and understanding. So in today's section, we are introduced to the concept of the special relationship. And so we learned first about the special hate relationship, and then we learned about the special love relationship. And so I think the easiest way to interpret what these mean is that it's how the ego loves. The ego loves because it's trying to protect itself from something, it's trying to get something. And so then it manipulates, it contrives. What this segment of the text was saying is that it's also trying to hide something. It's trying to keep us from guilt and fear and our own judgment thoughts, which lead to hatred. So the ego contrives special hate relationships to make itself superior, to make itself feel worthy, to justify its actions. And then on the flip side, the ego will also contrive a special love relationship. That's when there is that one special person, but they're only special as long as they do what we want, behave in the way that we like, and say what we like and expect. But then as soon as they start to behave in a different kind of way, then the ego will go into attack, and then out of that, it can create the special hate relationship. And we can see that phenomena in the context of, couples who are going through divorce, right? So we can say they had the special love relationship, but then something happened, disillusionment set in, and then it turned into the special hate relationship. But what this segment is pointing to is that that love in the special relationship is just a concept. It's actually an illusion. And so what this paragraph is turning our attention to is God's love, to find true love in response to the special hate relationships, or because of, and the special love relationships. That's the means. And so again, chapter 16 is a funny place to start, but I'm having fun with it because I feel like we're fast tracking ourselves a little bit. We're receiving the encouraging direction that we're almost there. And we haven't even done any of the work yet, but we're almost there. And then yet we get these very simple beginner reminders as well. For example, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. This takes us right back to the beginning, this simplicity of a spiritual direction. What if this was it? That your job, making it your job, your spiritual job, to undo the illusions, that you make it your job not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you've built against it. And we're reminded every illusion is one of fear, whatever form it takes. And so the attempt to escape from one illusion into another must fail. If you seek love outside yourself, you can be certain that you will perceive hatred within and are afraid of it. Because if you're seeking it outside of yourself, it suggests then that you don't have it yet within yourself. And if you don't have love, then all that can be there is fear. Fear and guilt, judgment. Judgment begets the hatred. I know hatred is a strong word, right? It feels almost like a jolt to read it, but perhaps that's what it's for. And then, yet peace will never come from the illusion of love, but only from its reality. And then right at the end, there is no veil. The love of God in us together cannot lift. The way to truth is open. Follow it with me. Okay. Okay, now let's go to today's lesson. And so we went to the workbook, and then you can see here on the left-hand side that the workbook for students go to lesson 3. It's already ready for us. All right, it's fairly short, similar to yesterday. Let's listen to the narrator.
Lesson 3. I do not understand anything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Apply this idea in the same way as the previous ones, without making distinctions of any kind. Whatever you see becomes a proper subject for applying the idea. Be sure that you do not question the suitability of anything for application of the idea. These are not exercises in judgment. Anything is suitable if you see it. Some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meaning for you. Try to lay such feelings aside and merely use these things exactly as you would anything else. The point of the exercises is to help you clear your mind of all past associations, to see things exactly as they appear to you now, and to realize how little you really understand about them. It is therefore essential that you keep a perfectly open mind, unhampered by judgment, in selecting the things to which the idea for the day is to be applied. For this purpose, one thing is like another, equally suitable and therefore equally useful.
Okay, and so our practice for 1 minute, morning and evening, is I do not understand anything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. And so just like yesterday, we're taking a moment to look around, letting the eyes alight on anything without discrimination, without preference, and just simply applying the idea. All right, so I'm going to set a timer, and I'm just going to set a timer for 1 minute. Let's begin. Okay, and that's our time. All right, so now I would like to go to the description of what miracles are, just to bring that to the forefront of our minds. And so, okay, let me share screen. Okay, so the principles of miracles, that's where we're looking. So we are in the text in the introduction, chapter 1, the principle of miracles. And so we got up to 12, I think, in the first video. So let's do, I don't know, let's do 4 more. Make it up as we go along. All right, so number 13. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They're always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present, and thus release the future. Oh, we could sit on just that one. All right, number 14. Miracles bear witness to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather the uncreative use of mind. So we have a distinction here between miracles and magic. And so miracles require conviction. And it's that purity of intent that then creates the conditions for miracles. When our mind and our little will becomes congruent or connected to God's mind and God's will. And then it's through that intent, through that wish, that prayer, that a miracle can take place. And we'll learn too how miracles are through the apparatus of forgiveness. All right, so number 15. Each day should be devoted to miracles. The purpose of time is to enable you to learn how to use time constructively. It's thus a teaching device and a means to an end. Time will cease when it's no longer useful in facilitating learning. And so our minds, the ego mind, uses time. And so one of our gifts is memory, right? We've been bestowed this incredible talent. Well, until we don't, as my father passed away from Alzheimer's, but we, for the most part, have this talent of memory. And so what do we use that for? Do we use the gift of memory to go into grievance, into doubt, fear, and worry? Or do we use the gift of memory to find delight and gratitude and our happiness? All right, so we'll do one more. We'll do number 16. 16, miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it's blessed to give as to receive. Number 16, miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as to receive. They simultaneously increase the strength of the giver and supply strength to the receiver. And so that's just reminding us that we can only give what we receive. And so if we are instruments, facilitators of miracles, if we help create the conditions for miracles, it's only possible because we've received it first. And so there's never any loss from this perspective. All right, so that's our lesson, I guess, for today. And like I said, I'll be heading to Australia next week, and I'll do my best though to keep up with these, and know that I will also be offering my online classes at the regular time. The mindfulness-based meditation class is on the third Tuesday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the natural healing self-help class is on the fourth Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that will be the following morning for me while I'm in Australia. And of course, I'd love to hear your shares, your comments, your thoughts, given what we've just explored. And if you do have any questions, I can do my best to help answer them, or perhaps approach them from a different point of view that helps bring understanding or less confusion, maybe. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day.